What's up, you guys? Welcome to Critique the Critics, the show where we take a look at one critic's review, line by line, pick it apart, and generally just make fun of it. Today we are looking at Detective Pikachu, and oddly enough, this critic decided to write their review as an open letter to a weather person, like a meteorologist. It really doesn't make any sense already, just the way it starts, and that premise. I can't wait to make fun of this stupid thing. Before we get started, if it's your first time here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell right next to it. You can get notified every single time we have a new video, and we do record these live on Twitch, and there's a link in the description if you want to check that out sometime as well. Let's get started. Dear Richard, wild weather consultant. For a tentpole film like Pokémon Detective Pikachu, your skills can save a production valuable time and money. Behind the scenes, predictability is vital. On screen, however, predictability can turn a sunny frolic into a dreary slog. So far, your attempt to make this an interesting analogy is just not working. It's not working at all. I don't understand why we're going with the weather report thing or the weatherman thing, because so far it's just so off base that it's just confusing me. It's like one person had an idea and no one had the balls to tell that person that it was just an absolute idea, which leads me to believe that you're either in charge or have a lot of money, or you intimidate people. I hate to rain on Pikachu's parade, but I hate this already so much. So much. This is just instantly painful. It's like trying and ball torture, but being apprehensive. It's like the second something gets hit, you're like, nope, not into it. But an obvious plot and lazy fan service aren't Detective Pikachu's only problems. How's that raining on the parade? You didn't even say that in the first place. You just assumed we were all thinking that those were problems, but there's more problems. None of us said that. You're supposed to do the review, not just assume that we already did our own. I hate when people just assume you think something already. Like, this review could have been like, I know what you're thinking. All of this stuff. Now let's get down to what it's like, and then your premise is based on what we're already thinking, having no bearing on whether or not we're already thinking that. But you know it. You know we're thinking that. The issues start with Tim Goodman, the weak lead character with a paper-thin backstory who accepts his ludicrous predicament too easily. His humdrum existence as an insurance adjuster is turned upside down when he must travel to Rhyme City, where humans and Pokemon coexist in harmony, following the death of his police detective father, which may have been staged. You gave me more information about the plot of this film than information as to why I should think what you said earlier. Maybe you should open with this. Here's the plot of the film. Here's why all of these things are this way, not assuming that I already think that, and then on top of it, some other stuff. So far, all you've said is that the backstory wasn't great for this main character, but what did you really want? We learned that as a child, he dreamed of being a Pokemon trainer, but gave it up. Why? We don't find out.
Isn't it disappointing when every kid doesn't become a fireman?
Actually, based on that, I feel like what we should do with children is ask what they want to be when they grow up, but record it so that later on when they don't become that, we can be like, failure! You were supposed to be an astronaut who makes ice cream, and you failed. You are a disappointment. Lawyer. Young Tim could have moved in with his father in Rhyme City after his mother died, but didn't. Why? Man, it sucks when I have to explain stuff. It's really frustrating because movies explain things. And even your next statement's gonna be about how there's so much exposition and explaining. So you're gonna ask all these questions like, they never explained it. And then you're gonna be like, but they explained too much. And that's annoying.
How do you explain family to someone who's never had one?
I mean, it's a very simple explanation. He could have lived there, but he was always doing something else and he didn't have time for him. So he wanted to be raised by people who had time for him. It's a really obvious and simple explanation. There were a lot of children watching this movie, by the way. They understood it, just so you know. But you also turned your review into an open letter to a meteorologist. Detective Pikachu's visual effects certainly do dazzle. The Pokemon are effectively rendered and walk, float, scramble, hop? Why is that in parentheses as questions? Why is other ways that animals move around posed as questions? Maybe if I use punctuation more, people won't realize I can't write things. Through Rhyme City's baby Blade Runner streets with their human counterparts seamlessly. I don't disagree with that. I think that the Pokemon were seamlessly put into the world. I don't really understand why every time there's a futuristic world it's compared to Blade Runner, like they're the only ones that did it. Have you not seen the Jetsons? When Tim arrives to solve the mystery of his father's disappearance, which isn't why he arrived, it's literally not why he showed up. Not why he did. He showed up because his dad died. That's it. He wasn't there to solve anything. In fact, he was like, want to grab this stuff and get out of here and get back home. That's not why he was there. He begrudgingly teams up with his partner, Detective Pikachu. It's interesting how in the second half of the sentence, you realize that that's not why he was there. Because you said begrudgingly teamed up with the... So you knew. I hate to rain on your parade. Your review sucks. What follows is a half-baked investigation involving purple drugs that turn adorable Pokemon into vicious bastards. That's the best line of this review. Underground Pokemon battles, good guys, bad guys, and help from a newbie journalist named Lucy, who is far wiser and more competent than Tim. Sure, yeah. I mean, she's a journalist and has been living in that city for much longer and has been investigating and researching this entire thing for years. So, yeah, yep. But without an exciting plot or an engaging lead, the visual effects are like an electrical storm. All flash and no thunder. Is that like a reference to Pokemon? Like Pikachu as like the lightning thing? Or is that just a weather reference? Because this whole thing is weather-based because you're writing to a meteorologist. As the voice of Detective Pikachu, Ryan Reynolds' playful humor proves he can bring the funny without working blue. There was a little bit of blue in there. It was just hidden. But he says some adult stuff in there for sure. He can't work all not blue. He was more like a sky blue. He was more like the color of a pollywog. I can make references too. Reynolds also has the range to make Detective Pikachu's arc emotionally resonant, which makes his human co-stars feel woefully one-dimensional. Justice Smith works gamely to make Tim more than a straight man to Reynolds' smarmy, charmy Detective Pikachu, but the fault lies with the 5 writers who failed to see the value in giving Tim some depth. He is the straight man. He's not the funny one. That's the point. It's literally offsetting it. It's literally the point. It doesn't even matter if the writing was better or if you cared more about Tim. None of that matters. He's still gonna be the straight man and the other one's gonna be the source of comedy. That's how it's gonna work. It sounds like you didn't want this movie to be called Detective Pikachu. It sounds like you wanted it to be called That Detective Tim. Are you looking for character development? Get the fuck out of here. This movie's called That Detective Tim. Kathryn Newton's Lucy is way different than Scarlett Johansson's Lucy. I'm just kidding. Kathryn Newton's Lucy is a spunky and spirited wannabe reporter full of facts and with gumption to spare. But her motivation to bring the truth to light is secondary to her role as Tim's Girl Friday. I see what you did there. It's kind of weird to make a reference to a Cary Grant movie while making references to weather shit. It's a little odd. It would have made more sense to make a reference to like Singing in the Rain, but Cary Grant's not in that, so we're not doing that, are we? Also, as far as her, I don't know what else you wanted. Like, she was literally investigating this thing, and so she gets brought in both as kind of a romantic interest, but more so as someone who can help figure this thing out. It is, after all, a detective story. Wait a minute, we could have been completely wrong. It's not that she didn't want Detective Pikachu, and it's not that she wanted that Detective Tim. It's because she wanted the amazing unsolved mysteries and secret adventures of that amazing, wonderful reporter, Lucy. Having no inclusion of Detective Pikachu and that Detective Tim. The movie! This is even more disheartening because one of the 5 writers is Nicole Perlman, who was a writer on Captain Marvel. Yeah, that makes it all so disappointing. Somehow? I don't understand how that makes it disappointing. We also don't know if you liked Captain Marvel. I guess context clues would lead us to believe that, or at least the writing, or at least the small portion of the writing that this one woman did. Lucy, and especially the younger audiences, deserve more than this tired trope. Yeah, for sure. The people who collect Pokemon cards, walk around town playing Pokemon Go, definitely deserve more than to see a fun movie with a shit ton of Pokemon. But that's exactly what they want. They don't care about Tim or Lucy. They care about the Magikarp that's flopping around on the ground so that they can go, ooh, Magikarp! That's why. They're excited because they get to see a group of Bulbasaur. That's it. At no point did Tim come on the screen and they were like, yes! Never. Never happened. Lucy came on the screen, it's like, get the f out of the way. You're blocking the side duck. Stupid reporter bitch. Wow. Very intense children watch this movie. And screw your stupid ideas. You know what I want? Detective Magikarp. Pokemon Detective Pikachu wants to be a fun, fluffy romp, and no doubt many viewers will find it delivers just that. But its soggy narrative, which relies too heavily on fan service and special effects to the detriment of character development, left me chilly. The chilly I understand as far as a weather comment. I'm still pissed that you're doing this, but soggy? Soggy? At no point should a meteorologist be like, here we have a soggy region. That shouldn't happen. You might experience some sogginess in the air this weekend. Had I known the forecast for this film was cloudy with a few sunny breaks, I would have brought a sweater. Why? Yeah, but then your sweater would get soggy, and who wants to wear a soggy sweater? Because I don't know if you heard, but the forecast wasn't just cloudy with a few sunny breaks. It also involved being chilly and soggy. So I guess deal with that. Well, I don't even know how to end this video, but thank you guys so much for watching. This is one of the dumbest ways of writing a review I've ever seen. It didn't work. It's really stupid. It completely missed the point of scenes. It contradicted itself, all in the wrapping of pretending to be a letter to a meteorologist. This is stupid. But what are your thoughts? Put it down in the comments. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button. We do record these videos live. You can check out a link to our Twitch channel down in the description. There are some videos on the screen too if you want to watch another one from us right now. And until we see you next time, geek out and game on. Now here's Tom with the f***ing weather. I don't know.